Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Today's Tuesday, June 6th, 2023, and we're here for a regular scheduled town board meeting. And as always, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And joining us today is Rachel Solomon, a student studying interactive media game design at SUNY Polytechnical Institute. Rachel is with us, and she's going to lead us in the pledge. Rachel?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thank you, Rachel. We start all our meetings. Rachel reached out to us a couple of days ago saying that she wanted to participate and be part of a government meeting, and they actually drove all the way from Bayside to be here to see it. And I do know the family for many years. We always share our holidays. We have different holidays that we share. And now she's off to college, and she decided she wanted to come here, and we thank you. So we have a little certificate of acknowledgement, Rachel, for you today. And if you want to come forward. And thank you for being so brave. Okay,
Thanks for being with us.
Okay, Frank, do we have anyone from the faith community with us
Yes, we
today?
do. I see her present.
Okay.
The invocation today will be given to us by Reverend Susan Moody, of Wading River Congregational Church. Thank you for being with us, Reverend.
Good afternoon.
Please join me as I pray. Dear wise and loving God, we come before you with grateful hearts today, offering you thanks for our lives, our families, and all you have provided for us. Thank you for the freedoms we enjoy in this country. Thank you for the people who fought and died to protect our right to that freedom. And I even thank you that in this nation we have the freedom to embrace you or the freedom to reject you. And I thank you that you love us no matter what we've decided about you. Thank you for establishing the governing authorities in this nation to promote peace and order and justice. And I pray that you will guide this council as they meet and discuss matters concerning the town of Riverhead, New York. God, there are many challenges facing our nation, and there are many challenges facing this city and its citizens. Help us be good neighbors to those around us, and give this council wisdom as it navigates the tough choices about how to balance helping others with doing what's best to care for its citizens. I pray that you will give each one on this council a keen thirst for justice and rightness. Help them to choose to work together in harmony even when there's honest disagreement and differences of opinion. And may they always work together for the good of this community as a whole. And finally, God, I pray for the agenda that's set before them today. Give them wisdom and discernment as they work their way through it. Help them listen well to one another. And may your peace surround each member of this council as they work on these important details. I pray all this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Great.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Reverend. We just have one quick announcement today. We just want to remind residents that the air quality is not very good here in Riverhead. There is a quality health advisory in effect today as a result of the smoke and the haze that's emanating from Canada, particularly from Quebec. There are currently wildfires, and the smoke is affecting us. So if you have some type of breathing disorder, maybe stay in, turn on the air conditioner. Just know that that is happening around here. Elderly children and those with compromised breathing condition, again, we're going to advise you to try to stay indoors, and because you may be sensitive to the particulates that are going to be in the air, and it's actually pretty heavy right now. And we're going to move forward. We have, I think we're going to move forward. Can I have a first and a second to approve the board meeting minutes of May 17, 2023?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Please take vote.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
The minutes are approved.
And Diane, do we have any communications and reports to report to the public?
Yes, we do. Under correspondence, Meredith Ritter sent comments on large warehouses and high-cube logistics centers and requesting more investigation on environmental issues. Crystal Weissmiller sent a letter in a opposition to warehouses and EPCAL developments. Reagan Judson sent a letter in opposition to Cargo Airport Warehouse or Distribution Facility at EPCAL. Ken Howell, development of EPCAL, opposition to Air Cargo Distribution Hub. Gary Sirica sent a letter regarding EPCAL development, GEIS. EPCAL Watch Coalition sent a letter regarding joint CDA, CAT, and RIDA application. Linda Nemeth sent a letter in opposition to Cargo Hub at EPCAL and warehouses. She actually had 2 letters. Town of Huntington Councilman Eugene Cook sent a letter. It was a Town of Huntington Voters Identification Resolution. Barbara Cavaletto sent her a letter regarding the New York Citizens Audit. Nancy McSwain sent a letter of thanks for protecting our town. Work for the East End sent a letter of support of a moratorium in GEIS. Ron Herreri sent comments on public hearing of 740 Main Road, Accabold. Richard Cole sent a letter with suggestions that the Riverhead IDA reject CAT's proposal at EPCAL. EPCAL Watch another letter to reopen a secret on the town's joint application with CAT. The Teamsters Joint Council number 16 sent a letter regarding EPCAL project in Calverton Industrial Moratorium. Steve Green sent a letter in opposition to Cannabis Code revisions. Under reports, the building department's May monthly report, $95,585. The tax receiver total tax collection to date as of May 31st, $161,120,185.57. Town clerk, May monthly report, $9,054.37. Water district sent in their 2022 annual water quality report. And that's it.
It was a mouthful.
A mouthful, yeah.
All right, thank you, Diane. And we have 4 public hearings today. First public hearing is regarding Tomcat Realty Holdings LLC for 1-story building for warehousing, manufacturing, and site improvements. And the time now is, the meeting was scheduled for 2:05. The time now is 2:12, and we're going to commence this meeting. And I believe Heather's with us, right, today? Heather, did you want to introduce the topic first? That'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, you'll get your turn, I promise.
Can everyone hear me? Okay.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. For the record, Heather Trojanowski, site plan reviewer. And this is a public hearing for the site plan application of Tomcat Realty Holdings LLC, which is an application seeking approval to construct a 1-story, 60,000 square foot building for warehousing, manufacturing, and offices, and to demolish an existing 14,256 square foot metal building with related site improvements, including on-site parking, outdoor storage, lighting, landscaping, and drainage. And the subject parcel is identified as Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-135.20-1-1, and it's a 14.536 acre site located at 901 Scott Avenue in Calverton, and it is also Lot 27 of the Calverton Camelot 2 subdivision. The parcel is located within the Planned Industrial Park Zoning Use District, which allows manufacturing, warehousing, and offices as of right. Outdoor storage is a permitted accessory use. Without further ado, I will hand it off to the applicant's representatives.
Thank you, Heather.
I don't see Kat. Thank you, Heather. And who do we have here?
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon, sir.
John Zolo,
How
on
are
behalf
you?
of the applicant,
Welcome to
Tomcat.
Riverhead.
Excuse me?
You're coming from Smithtown.
Yes.
Welcome to Riverhead.
I'm here often, yes, thank you. And the appearance is 12 Manor Road, Smithtown, New York, 11787. I'm on behalf of the applicant. So we're here today for site plan approval, and I have Rob Stromsky from Stromsky Architects will be doing a more detailed review of the overall application. First of all, I just want to say thank you to the Office of the Town Attorney and also the Planning Department. They have been very, offering good guidance, very responsive, and it's really been a pleasure. I told Heather especially, she's on top of it, and it's been a very positive experience for me and my client, and hopefully that will continue. We have the project here to demolish existing building and build a 60,000 square foot building on the site. And We went to the zoning board, they did grant variances, as you know. We also had a meeting with a preliminary meeting about the site plan with the board, and all those comments have been incorporated into the site plan you see before you. In addition, Mr. Stromsky did appear before the Architecture Review Board, and they did make some comments, and those comments, again, have been and or will be incorporated into the proposed site plan. Nothing of significance. And then, also, my client bought the property in 2020, and as you all know, there was an environmental study done way back when the town took the property from the Army, or from the Navy, excuse me. And my client bought the property, had environmental studies done, and I was in receipt of an email which expressed some concern about the prospect of my client moving soil around on the site. That was an email from Kelly Thora, I believe, I hope I pronounced that right. And what I want to just mention to you is my client did do an environmental assessment of the property when he bought it, and also EnviroTrack did a letter of January 11, 2021, just addressing the conditions, and obviously he bought the property, everything was in good order. They, in the report, they just highlight this, based on available documentation information related to the former Grumman-Calverton facility, MEI concluded that it appears that residual soil and possible groundwater impacts may remain within the boundaries of the 14.5 acre lot, and this response represents a controlled, recognized environmental condition in connection with the subject property. As such, it is recommended that any soils that may be disturbed during any planned redevelopment or excavation activities should be screened and properly managed, disposed as necessary. It was the opinion of MEI, who had done the environmental report, that no further testing, subsurface or otherwise, is warranted on the subject property at the time of their phase one. And I just bring that to your attention, so if there is any soil testing that's going to be required, which I expect that we'll deal with the Navy on that, since their overall responsibility is for that. And the variances were granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals, May 20th. I have a decision from May 23rd of this year. And other than that, one other issue, which again Rob Stromsky will discuss, there are undefined drainage easements in the overall EPCAL property, and on my client's property in particular. We've worked with Anne Marie Prudenti from the Town Attorney's Office and Vincent Guardella, the town engineer, and we are going to work with them to relocate them. There is no drainage there now. They were done as an overall part of the subdivision when this whole thing was approved back when Jan Bergman owned the property. So I don't see a problem with that. Again, I think it's a minor issue that we're dealing with the Town Attorney's Office, the Town Engineer, and Rob Stromsky. So unless anyone has any specific questions for me, I'm going to hand this over to Rob Stromsky and let him take it over and take you through the site plan. Thank you. Rob.
Good afternoon, Supervisor, members of the board. As you see the project before you, you have a site plan on the presentation board in front of you for a brand new 60,000 square foot building. The intention of the client was to have the existing 11,000 plus square foot building be intact during the construction of the project. In doing so, in order to lay out the building had to be placed more towards the west of the property, which possessed a couple of issues that we needed the zoning variances for. Some of that being that most of the parking is in the front yard, whereas according to current zoning, that was one of the variants that we needed to obtain. One of the things, by pushing the building back, it does reduce the visibility from the public way. That was a comment that was brought up during the Architects Review Board meeting. This project was presented to the board. Some of the comments that were made were towards the aesthetics of the building. I'm just going to switch the board so you can see the elevations. This is the proposed elevations that were presented to the Architecture Review Board. What we have here is a pre-engineered metal building where of the 60,000 square feet, there's about a 4,500 square foot area of office use that will be in that building. And as you can see on the top elevation on the right-hand corner, we used a different material, which is called Nichia cementitious fiber panel. It's very similar to the product that was used when we designed the Hampton Jitney motor coach facility. If you remember, the material that is on the terminal portion of the building is that same product. It's held up very well. In that instance in Carrollton, and we thought it would be a good use here, just to kind of bring a little bit of definition to the office space of the building. One of the comments that the ARB had was to lower the height of that product, just so it allowed the metal building to kind of come around it a little bit. They didn't feel that the height of that office area needed to be as tall, so we did revise that. And I actually have the new drawing underneath that, so I'll show you what those changes would look like. So now, as you can see with the colored rendering, what we're proposing is a light brown building with a darker brown roof, and then the Nichia panel has a gray light color, so that you have underneath that is, so now you see that that Nichia panel was lowered as a comment that was addressed by the ARB, which I think works for the building well. Some of the other minor comments they had with respect to landscaping. One of the things that they did note is that the way we have the building set back on the site, and that we have the evergreen screening in the front to hide the parking and outdoor storage, much of the building on the left, where the overhead doors and the metal panel would not be seen, it's really that office area that would be somewhat visible. So they were appreciative of some of the aspects that kind of make that office space a little bit more aesthetic than just a metal building clad. Some of the other comments were just to add some street trees to the front. We'll be working with Young Associates, who's developing the site and landscaping, to make sure that those comments are within the next revisions as we go back to the ARB for their final review. Beyond that, the site has pretty much been designed by Young Associates. I have Doug Adams here if there are any comments to the design of the site. As Mr. Zola had brought into attention, is there was an issue where we had placed the building. We didn't want to push the building any further west into the area to remain natural, so we left the building in the proposed current location. Yeah, if you want to just switch that. So one of the issues was that on the northeast corner of the building, there was a small portion of the drainage easement boundary that had clipped the corner. We had worked with planning staff and also the attorney's office, along with the town's consulting engineer, to verify that there are no existing drainage structures within that boundary, and that if we were to just adjust the line so that it would still hit the ends of our property and not affect any of the boundaries on adjacent parcels, and the fact that we would be maintaining our own drainage on site with proposed drainage structures, roof leaders piped into drainage structures, that we felt that there would be no impact on the drainage for any other parcels, and that we are going to be containing our own drainage on site. So we felt that there was no issues. That was also agreed upon by planning staff as we proposed the idea, and we're in the process of just detailing how we can do that with the town attorney's office, and I believe we'll provide an easement sketch that'll just show how that's going to be modified. It's a very basic modification. Beyond that, we also obtained variances for the height of the exterior lighting. So the exterior lighting that is proposed is based on the variances that were approved for that, for the height of the exterior poles and the lighting on the building, just so that it works with the general moving of the building. The building process use is going to be for the manufacturing of the fence pieces. My client and the owner of the property owns another parcel down the road, is 301 Scott Avenue. That is where all the PVC material is actually processed and extruded into the individual parts of the fence. This building is actually going to take that processed material and fabricate it into the actual fence sections. So there's really not a lot of heavy machinery that's going to be used in this building. It's pretty much mostly light routing CNC machines to route out the defense products themselves, and a lot of it is hand fabricated beyond that in an assembly line. So most of that building is going to be used for the manufacturing of the actual fence sections before they are then sent out for shipping and their final destination. And some of the interior building is also used for storage as well. If you have any other comments on the building, or if you have any comments on the use of the parcel, we also have Mr. Peter Williams, which is a representative of the owner of the property, if you have any questions.
Okay, great, thank you. Does anyone from the public want to comment on this project? From the public? Do we have anyone on Zoom? Okay. Okay, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Kelly McClinchy, Manorville. I came here today because, as you know, I probably have some environmental concerns, and I do. When I looked at the FEAF plan for this site, there were questions answered stating that there was a potential contamination history. And on that form, they were checked yes, the answers were checked yes. And then there's a question on page 10 stating that, is the project within 2,000 feet of any site of New York State DEC Environmental Site Remediation Database? The answer is checked yes. And underneath, if yes, describe the current status of the site. And there's nothing listed there. However, there is a document attached to the environmental form that lists some information about the former Navy property. The documentation in that document goes back to 2006 in relation to Site 7, which is going to be across the street from this development site. And then it just simply states that PFAS was discovered throughout the site in 2016. I am concerned about what might be in the soil and the sediment at the site. I believe that the gentleman who got up and spoke first was referring to an email that I sent to the RAB board to let them know that I was going to come here today and raise these concerns. I am not necessarily opposed to development at EPCAL. I'm not opposed to development of this site. I'm not opposed to demolishing the building that's there and, you know, this company making way to build a new building. But I am concerned that things are done in an environmentally sound way. The information that is in the New York State DEC Environmental Site Remediation Database is outdated, and it's not complete for what we are being, what the Navy is telling us they're seeing at the site now. And it's really, the town of Riverhead has the ultimate responsibility to make sure that they are approving site plans and developing through EPCAL in a safe manner, knowing that there's more contamination there than is just listed in the database. After the last Navy RAB meeting in April, the Navy assured the RAB that a plan for consistent monthly contact between the town and the Navy has been established regarding any proposed development within the fence at EPCAL. Has the town discussed this project with the Navy? From what the gentleman said earlier, it doesn't sound like there's any Navy involvement right now. It seems that the Navy, based upon the proximity of the Navy-owned land and areas of concern both to the north and the south of this site, where they're finding very high levels of PFAS, that the town should request and insist that the Navy provide some input here regarding what they know about contamination to ensure that whatever is developed at this site is done in a safe manner. In order to protect the health and safety of all involved, It is imperative to gain a clear understanding through comprehensive analytical testing to determine if and what types of contamination exist before any approvals are granted. The gentleman earlier referenced that he has some documentation that the soils there were tested. That doesn't seem to be, from what I gathered in my FOIL request, in any of the records. I do think that that should be disclosed so that the surrounding community and the residents know that that area is safe when they're working on it. Additionally, because of the vast levels of PFAS contamination found throughout EPCAL, the town board should immediately adopt a policy to notify the Navy of any development plans at EPCAL immediately whenever a project is proposed. The town board should require analytical soil testing for any and all projects within the fence line in order to make sure this area is redeveloped safely. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good afternoon, Barbara Blass from Jamesport. First, I concur with everything that Kelly just put on the record with respect to this application, and I do agree that the prudent thing to do would be to make sure the analytical testing is in place or has results are received prior to any disturbance of the site. But turning to the application itself, I may have missed it, but I didn't see any earthwork calculations. And I don't know if the applicant is proposing a balanced cut and fill on the site or if a 229 permit is needed for exportation of material. And if a permit is required, how much material will be exported, and are there any verified risks associated with moving or disturbing this material which may or may not be contaminated? So do we know if there's a balanced cut and fill?
Let her finish, and then you can come up.
Thank
That
you.
way to get
I
all
did
the-
indeed.
Oh, you did finish?
I did, thank you.
Okay,
Madam
so,
Supervisor.
yes.
Good afternoon again. Before I proceed, I just want to let you know that we filed the affidavits of posting and mailing with the clerk. And just for the record, I have the January 11, 2021 EnviroTrack 3-page letter concerning the site. And then I also have the Town of Riverhead Zoning Board's grant decision.
We need a copy. Devin, can you get a copy? Make sure that that goes on the internet later on today? Yeah.
And just a few other items. Peter Williams, Eastern Wholesale Fence, the site at 301 Scott Avenue, just so you know, it's a much more expansive use. That's where the manufacturer and extruding all goes on. And we had received a noise complaint, which was addressed. We met with the town representatives at the site, and there was an issue with the roof, which I think we took care of. And I haven't heard back from anyone in the town in several months, but I just wanted to mention to you, this site is going to be a much less intense use, so we're not concerned about the noise. And I spoke to Peter about it, and the way the building is going to be used and what type of mechanicals, there will be no issues of noise for the property. The other thing is, I have the full EAF that was done by Middleton Engineering in 2020. I'm going to forward that on to Heather by email. I didn't want to print it and bring it here, it's voluminous. And then just with respect to the property itself, the building is going to be on a slab, and I think we have an estimate of about 4,000 cubic feet is what might be excavated from the site. So it's not going to be a large moving of material, it'll be minimal disturbance at the property. So all the concerns that have been raised, I think, will be addressed through the process. And again, if soil samples are required by the town, we'll deal with the Navy on that, because I believe it's a Navy's responsibility to do the testing, but we'd have no objections to that process. Thank you.
All right, anyone else want to come up? Do we have anyone online? Greg, you're okay? Heather? All right. So oh, you're coming
Just a
back up?
quick
Okay.
follow-up question. If there is 4,000 cubic yards worth of material that needs to be removed, I think your site plan resolution should not only indicate that a 229 permit would be needed, because I didn't, is it? I didn't see
Okay,
it.
well, let her,
Oh, okay.
Barbara, you finish, and then she could come up, this was
Okay.
easier.
I didn't see it, as I said, on the site plan, and if it's there, I apologize.
Okay.
Thank you.
Heather Trojanowski, site plan viewer. Just to follow up on that, prior to any sort of preliminary approval resolution being drafted, there were extensive comments that were provided by the town's consulting engineer, one of which was about earthwork and the possible need for a Chapter 229 and earthwork computation, so that would have to be shown on a revised site plan, along with any other necessary revisions prior to approvals.
Okay, so it's being addressed. Fine. Okay. Hearing no one, I'm going to close this meeting. The time is 2:37.
No, I just want to say thank you.
I'm still closing it.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for closing it.
Okay, so thank you, and we're going to leave it open until, what is it, June, Devin, what's the date we're using now? June 16th. Nope. Yep. Got it. It's 4:30 on June 16, 2023, and it's open for open comments at the town clerk's office. I'm going to take a 30-second pause, because then we're going to open up the next meeting, get some of the people out. Okay, the next public hearing is for the consideration of a proposed local law to amend Chapter 289 of the Riverhead Town Code. It entitled Vehicles, Traffic, and Parking Regulations, Parking Time Limited. And Eric Howard, our town attorney, can you lead us on this, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Supervisor. This is a relatively straightforward code amendment. It adds some time-limited parking to the North Country parking lot in Wading River by the duck ponds. It implements 4 parking spaces that would be time-limited to 30 minutes, and then I believe 2 other spaces time-limited to 1 hour. This was previously discussed at a work session, and some revisions to the initial proposal were made with Councilman Rothwell's input, and now it's being proposed for a public hearing.
Okay, thank you for introducing the topic, and does anybody want to come forward in this regard? Chapter 289, an amendment?
I just want to say I spoke with the storefront owners that are down by the duck ponds, and they were just struggling that, it's a town parking lot, it fills up in its entirety, and some of these smaller, like the fish shop, and there's a little flower shop and other things where the short duration, where people really want to stop in, grab a cup of coffee, pick up lunch, and often the lot is full. So this will just grant, by having those 30 minutes, it does help out those local businesses down there. And the restaurant, it shouldn't really affect, because I think it has the on-street parking that really goes from the town parking lot all the way up to the Congregational Church. So there's a lot of on-street parking, but it's probably too far away if somebody was going to try to grab a cup of coffee or something at some of the other shops. So I think it benefits everybody overall.
All right, so...
Danielle, thank you. She put a lot of time into it.
Did we put it in the resolution, sir?
Yes,
It is in there?
Yes.
Did you check? I didn't get a chance.
yes, it did.
Just give me the numbers so I can pull it. All right, so we're going to continue with open comments on this matter. Is there anyone online? Oh, this is going to be a short public hearing. So we'll just give it a minute.
4:31.
Okay. All right, so I'm hearing no one. I'm going to close this public hearing. The time is now it's 2:40, and I'm going to pull a resolution. What number was that?
2:41.
I'm going to pull resolution 241 that's in the packet. While we can, is it 240?
No, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Give me 1
We're
second.
just getting the number.
4:31, sorry.
431, we're gonna pull that, and we have the option of taking the vote right away, and if the board is amenable, it is the summertime, and as Councilman Rothwell said, people want to enjoy the parking limitations and help with the businesses. So if it's okay with the board here today, we do have a quorum, that I would like to pull that resolution and vote on it right now.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we're pulling the resolution, everything okay? Eric, you're good with all this?
Yes, I am, and I would just note that we didn't receive any written comment in advance of today's meeting.
Okay, so thank you for that. Please take the vote.
Do we have to do public comment specifically for this
Oh, yes, we
resolution?
do, thank you. Do we have public comments on this resolution before us? What was it, 431?
4:31.
Okay, so Hearing no one, we're going to take a vote on it.
Kern.
I'm going to say, before I say yes, I just want to acknowledge the people that have those businesses that called me, and I want to make sure if this is not enough parking spaces for you to call me back, and I vote yes.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Gayrod,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution 431 is adopted.
Okay, take a 10-second, it's the right thing to do for the community. All right, you ready? We're gonna move on forward to our third public hearing today. It was scheduled for 2:10, it is now 2:42. And we're gonna open up the public hearing for consideration of a special permit application for 120 Edwards Avenue in Calverton also. And we have our esteemed planner, Greg, here. And he's going to once again review this matter for us. And Greg, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Supervisor, members of the board. For the record, Greg Bergman, planner with the Planning Department. So the town board is in receipt of a special permit application, which is seeking approval to construct a liquid propane storage and distribution facility on a 2.05 acre parcel of land located at 120 Edwards Avenue in Calverton. The special permit is required for the town board pursuant to Town Code Section 301-114B4 for the storage and distribution of non-toxic gases. The subject property, as I said, is 120 Edwards Avenue, which is located in the Industrial A zoning district. They are proposing, as I said, an 18,000-gallon liquid propane tank. There is an existing oil storage facility on the property. Early on in this process, the chief fire marshal did review this application. The applicant has submitted a fire safety analysis. All of that information was forwarded over to the Riverhead Fire District. There was some back and forth with the Riverhead Fire District. I received correspondence from the district on May 16th, essentially stating that the fire district is in concurrence with the chief fire marshal's recommendations on the plan. The location of the tank will be reoriented based on those comments. So we do have the owner of the property, Phil Dowell, who runs Do Well Properties. If the board has any questions, we're here to answer them.
Okay. Does anyone have any comment? Yes, come on up, sir.
August Grossman, Calverton, New York.
Hi, how are you?
One question for the board and the planning board. Mr. Duell is applying for the propane tank. In the area that which propane tank is going, we who live down there are being actively pursued by battery storage companies for applications to use our properties for battery storage, which, if any of these do go through in years down, because I understand we have a moratorium on them right now.
We don't
We don't.
have a
don't?
moratorium on battery
And it
storage.
can only
Okay.
go in 2 locations here in Riverhead.
Okay, that has been decided because we are still
Is there
being
3?
inundated down on River Road with companies that want to lease our property for purposes of battery storage.
We'll have a planning department who has the records and done a
Because the
little
reason I'm
research on-
bringing this up is that if that does go through, that puts a propane tank, the storage tank, a power facility, the substation, and lithium storage, all within about 150 yards of each other, next to the Peconic River. If you're talking about a time bomb, that's what you're talking about right there, because if lithium has got its reputation, and you mix that with propane, I really don't feel there's gonna be much future in the back end of my property. So that's my only comment.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Greg, did
Okay.
you want to add to that? Do we,
All I'll say to that is we have not currently received any proposals. We have not received any applications to site a battery storage facility there. That being said, if someone makes if the board does approve the propane storage facility, if a battery energy storage system comes in, they're going to have to do a fire safety analysis. It'll have to comply with the code, and that'll be looked at through the fire marshal review. Again, it'll get referred to the fire department. If there's any sort of code requirements for separation or spacing, that would obviously be addressed. But, you know, to say we can't process this application because another application may come forward down the road, I don't see how you put one property owner's rights over the right of another.
I'm just curious, with the proximity to the railroad, are there any additional concerns?
I don't believe so. I mean, I can look.
It's
I'm
not
sure.
directly adjacent.
No.
It's,
No, there's a bit of separation. I mean,
Okay.
I can look at the distance.
no, I was just curious.
I don't believe there was any requirement to do any sort of referral to the railroad.
Okay.
Anyone else want to come forward? Chip, do we have anyone? Okay, we're going to close this public hearing at 2:47. We're going to leave it open for written comments, June 16th, 4:30 PM at the town clerk's office. Okay, our final public hearing today was scheduled for 2:15. The time now is 2:48, and we're going to open up this public hearing for a special permit application, 740 Main Road in Aquabog. And again, the busy man today.
All right.
Greg Berman is here to open up the topic.
Thank you. Once again, Greg Bergman with the Riverhead Planning Department. So this is a public hearing before the town board for a special permit application. This special permit application is seeking to convert an existing 1.5-story building into a medical office and perform site improvements, including the expansion of an existing parking area, installation of new exterior LED lighting fixtures, and adding landscaping throughout the site. Pursuant to Town Code 30164B1, the site is eligible to be considered for the professional office use, as it is located within 1/4 mile of the Village Center zoning use district. Subject property, as you stated, is located at 740 Main Road, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-67-2-16.4. The site is presently improved with an approximately 2,700 square foot main building, as well as a 376 square foot outbuilding, both of which will be used for professional medical offices. The total is about 3,100 square feet roughly. As I stated, the property is located in the Rural Corridor Zoning District, which makes it eligible for the special permit criteria. We have referred this application to the fire marshal. They had no comments. The application, because although they're not proposing any improvements to the access point on 25, we referred it to the New York State Department of Transportation. We recently received correspondence that no type of permit is required from the DOT for any of the improvements on site. So again, if the board has any questions or members of the public, we're here to answer it. We do have Martin Finnegan, who is the attorney for the applicant, as well as Justin Spilka, who is the physician's assistant certified, who is running the proposed business.
Thank you, Greg. Anyone have any comments? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Ronald Tariri of Aquabog. By way of background, I own the property located at 730 Main Road in Aquabog, which is both immediately to the west as well as to the north of this particular parcel. I've owned that piece of property since approximately 1997.
Ron, excuse me, they're asking if you could put the microphone closer to your mouth for the television, please.
Yes, thank you. I've owned this particular piece since approximately 1997. As you know, I also reside in Aquabog and have several additional pieces of property in the immediate area. I own 11 acres of land at 209 Crystal Drive, immediately to the north of this property. I own 498 Main Road, also in Aquabog, and I also have a home on Grant Drive in Aquabog. I resided in Riverhead for approximately 40 years because I reside, work, in the immediate area. I am intimately familiar with all aspects of the topography, land, traffic, and other aspects of this particular property. I would note at the outset that this particular application is defective in a multitude of material respects. Because of these defects, which I will point out, this board lacks the jurisdiction to move this project further just on technical elements, and I'll get to substantive issues as well. First of all, I want to make sure that Mr. Berman, and I appreciate his help, has provided me with various correspondence, and I think he's been diligent in providing that material to us. But I'd like to make sure that you've been able to review some of the correspondence we've sent to Mr. Berman, and he's provided to you. Is that true, Mr. Berman? You're sitting there.
Yes. Bergman, actually, but yes.
Bergman, I apologize.
I forwarded your correspondence to the board.
Thank you. So first of all, the application fails to properly designate the current owner. There appears to be different entities involved. One is an individual, another is an LLC. The different entities are something called Chayton LLC or Matthew Chayton. It's not clear whether the notarization on the application is proper. It happens to be an out-of-state notary, and it appears to be a notary that applies to an individual, not an LLC. So if the LLC is the owner, that notarization, that application is defective. In addition to the, and these are fundamental defects in this paperwork, in addition to the improper designation of the owner, and this is, again, basic stuff, you got to know your parties in something like this. There are also multiple inconsistencies in the designation of the applicant. First of all, there's a listing on one set of documents of an individual named Justin, and I'm probably not pronouncing this properly, I think it's Spolinka. I'm not sure whether he's designated as a medical doctor. I'm not sure whether that's accurate. The title report actually lists the owner as a separate entity, or the purchaser rather, as a separate entity, something called YMB Realty LLC. And finally, the staff report, which is diligent, lists yet another entity, something called Coastal Medical, as the applicant. So it's like a musical chairs of different parties. This is a fundamental error. Because of it, because they haven't designated the proper party, this board lacks jurisdiction to move this forward. Should we challenge this in court, this would be a fundamental jurisdictional error, and moving it forward would be improper and insofar as you lack jurisdiction. So let me try to also address some of the merits. I think these misdesignations or equivocations about ownership are probably intentional, because although professional offices are permitted, I think that you need to consider the limited type of projects that are allowed in this rural corridor zoning, which is intended to preserve the rural bucolic character of this area, particularly east of 105. So rather than a doctor's office, which I would welcome any type of professional's office, this appears to be a large-scale clinic of some sort. we looked, and I would invite the town board to look at the website for what appears to be the real party in interest, which is some entity named Coastal MD, to confirm that. It appears to be a very different project than a medical office for a medical doctor. In fact, the Coastal MD website lists that it specializes in various sexual health treatments. In this particular project, okay, there are three, count them, 1, 2, 3 petitioned off massage rooms. I don't think that fits within rural corridor zoning. In addition, I just point out also that the staff report appears to include some misleading or false statements. First of all, and again, I want to remind you that I've been here for 40 years. I travel this road every day. You'll all remember it because you all probably attend the Heidi Bear fundraiser, where a heroic young paramedic was killed on that stretch of treacherous road years ago. It's a dangerous highway, so let's just point out some of the false or misleading statements. The staff report says that this project, with its 20 parking spaces, with people going in and out for massages or testosterone treatments, is not in proximity to any place of public assembly. Totally false. Across the street is a celebrated Italian restaurant. We provided you with photographs of the substantial activity there. I'm sure you've all passed by it. There are cars parked up and down that road on the highway where people travel 50 miles an hour. In addition to that place of public assembly, remember, the staff report says it's not in proximity to one, there's a cider tasting barn immediately adjacent to that. So, you know, you've got a traffic problem already. You've got a traffic problem that's gotten worse in the 20 years since we lost Heidi. And you have a completely false narrative in this staff report that you're not near a place of public assembly, and there's no traffic impact. Complete nonsense. We all know that. So, in my view, I welcome a medical office. I welcome something other than what looks like will be a medical clinic with 20 parking spaces, people going out, in and out for their treatment. I'd also just note, this board recently terminated Mr. Bergman's predecessor, Jefferson Murphy. They terminated him after he stood up at a public meeting and said, "I have never been to Sound Avenue during pumpkin season." Well, I think you have, and I think I have. So I think the real problem is you need to look at this area, get a better picture of what's really involved here, confirm the status of who the real applicant is before you move forward, particularly in the context of a carefully crafted zoning provision that's designed to protect the bucolic rural character of this particular area in Aquabog, which is one of the last vestiges of what we used to be. So thank you, I thank Mr. Bergman, and I thank the board. And I would like to have 10 days to submit written comments as you provided in the case of the other applications.
Okay, I will afford that to you, but we're going to finish, that'll come at the end. let's continue to hear comments on this.
Thank you.
And I just want to make, Mr. Harari, one erroneous comment that you made. The planning, the head planner was not, Mr. Murphy was not terminated, he was suspended, and he has the due process that's going to take place. So we
Thank
just
you.
want to, we
Yeah,
just
thank
want to
you for
clear
that
that,
clar- yeah, thank you for
that, you know, he's
Thank you
got,
for clarification. So I just
so
want to
he's
make
going
another
through a
point.
hearing, and that's going to, it's going to take
Thank you,
its time.
thank you for that point. I just want to make another, general point. I think Mr. Bergman has done generally a good job, but I think what's missing sometimes in the planning is that this is a project that has been out there since March. So I know that he's reached out to the developers, but what I think the planners need to do is reach to the neighbors and the people in our town as well, because we have a vested interest. For instance, in my case, I would not have invested in my multiple properties without having the security of
Okay.
your carefully thought-out zoning, which is designed to preserve that.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Supervisor.
Anyone else want to come up on this topic? Greg, did you want to add to it?
Yeah, just one point. So to speak about the bucolic zoning of the property, so the term professional office is defined in our town code, and I'll read from the town code for the record. So a professional office is defined in section 301-3 as the office of a member of a recognized profession maintained for the conduct of that profession. Specifically included are offices of accountants, architects, artists, attorneys, audiologists, bookkeepers, chiropractors, dentists, engineers, income tax preparers, insurance agents or brokers, interior designers, journalists, medical doctors, optometrists, osteopaths, podiatrists, physical therapists, real estate agents or brokers, and number 20, any other professional office determined by resolution of the town board to have similar impacts to those listed above. So for the board's consideration, I would just offer, again, we do have the applicant here, if the board would like to get some details on the type of their practice. That would be like the board questioning whether Mr. Hariri practices corporate law, real estate law, we're gonna split hairs about the type of medical practice.
We're not going to do that, Greg, but
So-
we should also give him the opportunity if he wants to
But I'm
come
saying,
up.
but so
Yeah,
just for the board,
so-
so it is in the code, so there is a provision, like, there's no prohibition on the type of medical practice. In fact, it gives the board some latitude. And again, we're not talking about, they're not making any material changes to the outside of the structure. They're not changing the rural character of the structure. They're adding some parking stalls to facilitate the medical office use of the property.
Okay. Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Martin Finnegan, 13250 Main Road. I represent the applicants. I just want to set the record straight with regard to the applicant and the confusion about who they are. Yes, my client, Justin Spilka, who is here, is named as the applicant. There was a title report. He is the contract vendee of the property that is currently owned by Matthew Chaton. So just so the board understands, this is a very standard transaction where there's a purchase of the property subject to these approvals. So the entity in which they will eventually take title is the YMB real estate entity, but Justin applied individually for the approvals. It has absolutely no bearing, as I'm sure the town attorney will agree, on this board's jurisdiction to consider a special permit application. I think what has been made clear through the process and the meetings we've had with planning staff and the planning board is that this application and the proposed adaptive reuse of this building fits squarely within the criteria set forth in section 301-312, the special permit criteria. There's no smoke and mirrors here. Dr. Bervetti and Justin are sitting here in the audience. They're available to answer questions. This is an integrative health and wellness practice. They are going to offer holistic rather than standardized medical treatment. It is a medical office, no question about it. The types of therapies and treatments they offer will be between them and their patients, but it is certainly not the type of use or that will in any way impact traffic The only real substantive change to the existing layout is to rework parking just so we can accommodate one additional spot per code. Other than that, we're talking about interior alterations, landscaping. The property is going to look 1,000% better than it looks today. We are here to address any other questions the board may have, but I just wanted to make it clear that everybody who is part of this process, part of this application, and part of the eventual operation of this medical practice is here, and there's nothing to hide there.
Okay,
Okay?
great, thank you, Mr. Finnegan. And I understand we have somebody
So I
online?
just want to make one point, that is particularly telling because I read a Riverhead Local about the musical chairs with 555, and we know where that got to town. So if council wants to submit a proper application with the proper parties, he's certainly at liberty to do that. But right now, this application is patently defective, and should you move forward on it, we would challenge it in court as the town acting ultra vires because of these fundamental defects.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Do we have someone online? Yep.
If I can, I just want to say that, the residents of this town have always advocated to reuse, refurbish, redevelop, the pre-existing buildings within our town before new development comes in. And I think that the new layout and site plan and the redevelopment and trees, grass work, everything, just the simple landscape around it will be a great addition for the rural corridor. So thank you for investing in Riverhead. I support the project. Still want to listen to public comment, but I think that should be stated as well.
Yeah, and I totally agree. They're not hurting the environment, and they're maintaining, they're repurposing. It is an ugly building, and it's zoned for it, obviously, and the proper process is taking place. The applicants are here. They want to come forward, make a statement. That's your choice. You don't have to. But if you choose to, then thereafter, we're going to take the person who's online, okay?
Hello,
Good
everyone.
afternoon, sir. Your name?
My name is Justin Spilka.
Okay.
So I'm a physician assistant. I started this practice with my partner over there, Dr. Gregory Brevetti, who's board certified thoracic surgeon, general surgery as well. This is a family-run practice. It started with not only my partner, but my wife. She's also another PA in this practice, as well as my brother, who's my chief of operations. We're really looking to bring a lot of great things to this town. We're very excited around here. We all grew up very close to here. I just wanted to really throw that out there for you. We're not some big medical practice that's going to be stomping over this whole property. We want to really preserve how beautiful it is down here and be a part of the community. I invite you to also look on our website too for our core values, which also include integration and support. We usually do at least 1 to 2 community events a week in which we're giving back to either charities, towns, what have you, in the area. So we really pride ourselves on that and having the ability to do that as a medical practice. And I just want to leave you all with that. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
No,
Okay.
and thank you
Anyone
for
else?
bringing integrative medicine to Riverhead, because there's no facility here that really addresses that, so.
Thank you. I
And I
appreciate it,
did look
everyone.
you up online since the topic came up.
Yeah.
So mostly concentrating on holistic and alternative medicine.
Correct, yeah, it's a
And,
more forward approach.
So, okay,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Do we have someone online? Okay, the former,
Wait,
hold on a second, Mr. Harari, you don't come in, there's a flow through this. She's up next, and then we'll take you if you want to. So, that's, just let it be known, the former supervisor of Riverhead, the last former supervisor, is with us online, so let's see what she has to say.
Hi, am I on?
Yes, you are, we can hear you.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm also president of the Jamesport Civic Association, so I just wanted to comment on a few things. One question I do have is that as part of the special permit, this is within a quarter mile, I guess, of hamlet or village zoning, and I'm just curious what percentage of the property falls in that zoning? Is it the complete parcel, or is it a portion of the parcel?
So I mean, 100% of the property is within a quarter mile of the village center zoning. I believe it's 2 properties over, so it's safe to say 100% of the property is within village center.
Okay, thank you very much. And I know, I believe Ken Rothwell had made about repurposing, reusing. I think that was you, Ken, I'm not sure. And I do think that that's very important in our community to be able to reuse things. I think the building that's there is being left, and I think it's a very nice building, fits very nicely into the area, but it's also important that what goes into those buildings fits within the zoning. So it's not just repurpose and reuse, but it's also to be compliant with whatever's being put into the zoning. So the 2 comments that I have about it is that it is within the rural corridor and as part of a special permit. I know on the plans that were put out, there were more lights that would go in there within the rural corridor. So I'm just asking, when you're considering the special permit, if you would consider some of the conditions with it, that maybe when the office is not in use, that the lights do not remain on outside, and that the lighting conforms to some of the, well, obviously to the dark skies, but also in height. I know that there's other office buildings further down, across from the school in Aquabog there, that do the lighting very well and keep it unobtrusive to the character of the area. So I hope that you would consider that, as well as I think that this is more of an intense use that was there. I don't know what's changing with the septic system, but also that you would consider using one of the innovative septic systems or making them comply with one of the innovative septic systems if they're going to have to expand it. As well as many times we've seen that to keep the rural character, they've done a gravel driveway, and not within a year, they come back and they pave it over, and this is a fairly extensive parking area that will be with the building. So I'm hoping that you will put some sort of condition on it that they cannot change over after the building is in place from the gravel driveway. And those are just a few of the comments that I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to come forward? Okay.
Just to clarify, because I did speak about the zoning, and I think you have a former supervisor raising questions about the zoning. So it does also include residential use. So I would echo the former supervisor's concerns that whatever buffering and whatever lighting you provide recognizes the possibility that that adjacent parcel may be for residential. And we've done it so often in Riverhead. You become kind of notorious in paving paradise with a parking lot. So in this case, I would just say that please be concerned as to the potential residential use in the immediate area, including my parcel, the adjacent parcel, the parcels to the north, in terms of addressing potential buffering. And again, I reserve my objections as to the procedural issues, and I also want to remind the court of the supervisor, sorry, I feel out of habit, of my request to submit written comments within 10 days.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Anyone else, Chuck? Anyone else want to come forward? Okay, we're going to close this meeting. It is 3:15, and we're going to leave it open until 4:30 p.m. at the for written comment at the clerk's office until June 16, 2023. So this is going to conclude our public hearing portion of our meeting today, and now we're going to take comments on any matter. No, actually on the resolutions, right? Disregard on the resolutions that were going to be read before us. After that, we're going to take public comments on any matter. So this is just specifically on the resolutions before us. Does anyone want to come forward? I have to say this, Mr. McCall, a meeting is not a town board meeting without you here.
I appreciate your
I have to say,
great
tradition.
welcome to me. It always warms my heart. John McAuliffe from Roanoke Landing. I have question or a comment about 439 on the racetrack, not street. And it's not to the substance of the resolution, but it is to underline a question. I have to give, having been critical of the whole idea of drag racing, I have to give credit to Mr. Scalzo and to the board members that it has operated in a very responsible fashion, and it has been particularly, you remember, it was calendared in order and recalendared in order to protect the area of bird nesting. So as we go through our other discussions.
I can't believe what I just heard, but.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Things change.
You know
Things
that was-
change.
Okay, well,
Things
that's
change.
grand
I mean,
of you.
it's,
Very grand of you.
But the point I'm going to is that we're concerned about protecting the nesting areas. And then we have now this proposed project from the Germaisians to make active
Is
use
that,
of those
so
runways.
the museum is not on here, you need to speak
No,
up.
no, let me,
You need-
1 minute, I'm
That
talking
would be
to the.
general comments,
Yeah,
Mr.
or I will come back on that later, but
Yeah,
I'm
would you
just,
mind, please? Let's just stay on the
while
resolutions.
we're talking about this particular
That's
use.
general comments on,
Okay.
on that project. So that we have the resolution before us.
Okay, so you'd accept my general comments as long as they're supporting what you did.
Which
I
resolution are you,
understand that.
which
I'm
resolution
talking-
are you talking about?
This is to Resolution 439, the
Racetrack.
racetrack nuts.
Has
And
nothing
I'm
to
simply
do
pointing out
with
the
CAT.
contradiction of proposed air cargo use of those runways
Air
if
cargo
you're
use is not
protecting,
part of the resolution,
if
it's
you're
a racetrack.
you're
Okay.
protecting the use
All right.
of those lands. Thank you.
Thank you. You can come back. Again, it has to be things. Specifically.
know.
We know you will be back. So it has to be specifically to the resolutions before us. How many resolutions we have, Devin? 64? 61? Oh, we lost 3 of them, okay. So it has to be specifically later on. It's general it's happy hour. Everybody can come in, do it, say what they want to say. So do you have, it's not happy hour now, it's work time. There's no one on there. Okay, so hearing no one, I think we're gonna have the resolutions called, please. Yes, please, Diane?
Resolution 384.
To ratify a highway fund budget transfer, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 385.
Sewer Department budget transfer, so moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 386.
Water District Capital Project number 82316, 15 Bay Avenue, budget adoption. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 387.
Pave our potholes, POP, 2023-2024, road resurfacing grant budget and project number 52214, budget adjustment, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 388.
2023-2024 EWR Road Resurfacing Grant Budget and projects number 52111 and 52213, closures, so moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 389.
Pave New York 2023-2024 road resurfacing grant budget and projects number 52110 and number 52212, closure. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 390.
CHIPS, 2023-2024, road resurfacing grant budget and projects number 52109 and number 52211, closure, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 391.
Appoints a call-in recreation specialist to the Recreation Department, so moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 392.
Appoints a call-in recreation specialist to the Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 393.
Appoints a call-in recreation specialist to the Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 394.
Appoints a call-in recreation specialist to the Recreation Department. So moved.
Second.
Vote please. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 395.
Appoints a call-in recreation specialist to the Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 396.
Appoint seasonal staff to the Recreation Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 397.
Appoints a call-in assistant recreation leader. So moved.
Vote please.
Second.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 398.
Appoints automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Vote
Seconded.
please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 399.
I don't have 399 in my packet.
Stapled together. Want me to read it?
Oh, they're stapled together? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I have it.
Thank you. All righty. 399. Appoints a part-time traffic control specialist to the Police Department. So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 400.
Ratifies the appointment of an account clerk. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 401.
Ratifies the appointment of a homemaker. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 402.
Accepts the retirement of a public safety dispatcher. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 403.
Accepts the retirement of a building permits examiner. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 404.
Terminates a part-time homemaker. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 405.
Terminates an unpaid leave of absence and ratifies the reappointment to active duty status. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 406.
Amends the resignation of an automotive equipment operator. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 407.
Amends the appointment of a seasonal water treatment plant operator. 2B. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 408.
Authorizes supervisor to execute an MOA with Local 1000, AFS CME, AFL CIO, Riverhead Unit of the Suffolk Local 852. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 409.
Appoints request for leave of absence. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 410.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for disposal of town-generated construction and demolition materials. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 411.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for scavenger waste treatment plant odor control improvements. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 412.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post notice to bidders for additional 2023 concession vendors, town parks and beaches. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 413.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post bid for Ford Auto Parts. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Sayrod.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 414.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post bid for truck parts. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 415.
Authorizes the town clerk to publish and post bid for auto parts. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 416.
Yes.
Yeah, 416.
Authorize the town clerk to publish and post a notice to bidders for renovation, modification of certain portions within Town Hall at 4 West Second Street. So moved.
Second.
Okay, vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
I have a quick question. Is there a time frame on this to put the bid out? Or is it,
The bid request.
yeah, this is just a notice, but after that's notice and we go forward.
Is there not a time frame
417.
to respond?
Yeah, is there a time frame? Because we want to move on, right?
Usually there is.
Yeah, with like 2 or 3 weeks?
It seems.
I don't know if they listed it on there, yes. Because we're gonna do the hearing first. Or should it be on here? What's here? I want to make sure we get it right.
Supervisor, to the best of my knowledge, it'll go in the paper on the 15th.
Oh,
Bids will be available on the 15th. Bids will be open for 2 weeks. And then a committee will get together, review the bids,
And then accept
make a
them?
recommendation to the
Perfect.
town board.
okay. So that doesn't have to be on the notice, right?
So this says.
Or should
That's correct.
This says
It doesn't,
we're
okay,
accepting bids to June 29th.
okay, perfect. We got it. So we're finally moving forward. Good job.
Okay. So Resolution 416 is adopted. Resolution 417.
Authorizes town clerk to publish and post a public notice to authorize the Town of Riverhead Water District to transfer property owned by the Riverhead Water District and not needed for Riverhead Water District purposes or operations described as Suffolk County Tax Map 600-108-2-1 to the Town of Riverhead, and authorize the Town of Riverhead to transfer a portion of the property owned by the Town of Riverhead and not needed for the Town of Riverhead or the Town of Riverhead Highway Department purposes or operations described as Suffolk County Tax Map 600-76-1-13, subject to a public hearing required by the town law subsection 198 and permissive referendum pursuant to town law subsection 64-2 and town law subsection 208A and B.
Council-
Who wrote that one?
Say that
Councilman
again?
Bayrock.
This is
I
illegal.
wrote that.
That
down
sounds like
for
one
you.
of, that
So
sounds like
moved.
one of her moving on and comma.
So I'm going to request that the town board make a correction. The property described as 600-108-2, it should be Lot 2, not Lot 1, throughout the resolution. Karen made the correction, I don't know why it didn't make it into the town board's version.
Okay, so we'll take a vote on amending the resolution.
Thank you.
So I move it as amended.
Seconded as
You're gonna
amended.
send it? Okay, please take the vote, Diane?
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
The
So now
resolution is amended. And we'll call it for
We'll
adoption.
call the
Okay,
vote. You don't have to read it again.
No, I think you should read it again.
You should read it?
I think so.
Wait a minute.
Hey, wait a minute. You wanted to read it?
I'm looking for
It looks
airtime
like-
here.
Like 3-1. 3-1, isn't that a quorum?
Okay.
Yeah, really.
Town Board Resolution 417 as amended, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Damn.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 418.
Extends bid for corrosion control chemical P04. So moved.
You want a second?
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 419.
Awards bid for rebid defreeze pump station control panel replacement. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 420.
Awards bid for 2023 concessions vendor, town parks, and beaches, so moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 421.
Approves fireworks application for Riverhead Raceway on July 1st, 2023. So moved.
Second.
Vote please. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 422.
I don't have 422.
Stapled together. Approves firework application for Riverhead Raceway August 5th, 2023.
Oh, they're
So
stapled
moved.
together.
Second.
Vote please. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 423.
Authorizes designated alcohol service vendors to serve alcohol at Alive on 25 Street Festival. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 424.
Ratifies authorization for designated alcohol service vendors to serve alcohol at the Reflections Art in the Park experience in the Milton L. Burns Park, Grangerville Park, Peconic Avenue, Riverhead, New York. So moved, but do we need to complete a date on this?
It says September, scheduled for June 17th, July 14th,
It's number
August.
2023, and then it's blank.
Yeah, mine's highlighted.
Oh,
So
okay.
what is that? What do we do here?
Right here, Rick.
I think it's 424. That's all it's missing.
All right, so this one was designed to be adopted after you adopt 425. Because 425 sets forth the bids, calendar events for 2023, and this is referencing that, your adoption of that resolution.
Do you want to do them in a different
So
order?
sequentially- Yeah, so sequentially, 425 should have come first.
Do
Can we pull
425
that
first?
and move it forward?
So you want to just,
Okay.
Devin, does that cause any problems if we call 425 first?
Really what I needed was a number for
424?
420. Yeah. So if we amend it and make
Yeah.
that 2023 425, then it'll be fine.
Okay.
So we're making this 2023,
Adopt
4,
425, yes.
what's 425?
No, 425 changes all of these, so we should call it first, right? This is,
You can call 425 first.
yeah, then I think it'll fall in better,
Oh,
right?
and then
Okay.
okay.
So let's call 425 first. Next.
Can we still vote on this or not?
Yes, we can, of course.
And then we'll come back to 424.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
yeah, so I withdraw that right now. Now we do 425.
Okay, ratifies authorization for the supervisor to execute an agreement with the Riverhead Business Improvement District Management Association, Inc. regarding 2023 calendar year events. So moved.
Second.
Vote, please. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution 425 is adopted. Resolution 424.
Ratifies authorization for designated alcohol service vendors to serve alcohol at the Reflections Art in the Park experience in the Milton L. Burns Park, Grangerville Park, Peconic Avenue, Riverhead, New York. So moved.
Second.
All right, but you need to
Vote, please.
amend that to insert 425.
Yep. So with that same,
So we're gonna-
to make one amendment on this resolution to add in the resolution 424 to reflect it within. So, as amended, I'll make this.
Yeah, and we got to take a vote. So we're going to call the vote, Diane? Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution 425 is amended. Now we'll call resolution, an amended resolution 424.
So I'll, should
No,
we-
we're supposed to.
Yeah.
So you'll move it? I'll
Yeah,
second.
move it. I'll
Resolution
just
424 as amended.
Resolution 424 is amended. So
Second.
moved.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution 424 is adopted. Resolution 426.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement authorizing the town to accept funds from Suffolk County Office for the Aging to supplement the town's shopping assistant program for the elderly. So moved.
Before I second it, would you read this out loud, all of these pages for us? to talk about?
Sure. We can do that later.
I
So
dare
moved.
you.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 427.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with Family Service League regarding the Employee Assistance Program. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 428.
Authorizes the supervisor to execute an eighth amended agreement authorizing the town to accept funds from Suffolk County Office for the Aging for the purpose of supplementing the town's nutrition program for the elderly. So moved.
Second.
Vote please. Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 429.
Authorize supervisor to execute a license agreement without exceptions films. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 430.
Amends resolution number 2023-137. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. And we'll skip over resolution 431 as we did that already.
Yes, we did.
So resolution 432.
Ratify settlement of legal action against the owners, tenants, and occupants of premises located at 734 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, New York. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 433.
Rescinds resolution 2023-291 adopted on April 18th, 2023, and ratifies offer of support to the New York State Legislature to amend the real property tax law in relation to the Jamesport Fire Department application for an exemption from real property taxes, Senate Bill numbers .2500A and the Assembly Bill number A-3316A. So moved.
Second.
That's great. We were able to do that for the Jamesport Fire Department, and yes, please vote.
Kern.
Robbie?
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 434.
Grant special permit for 644 Roanoke Avenue, addition 644 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, New York, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 600-126-4-3. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 435.
Authorizes the submission of a youth mentoring grant. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 436.
Approves Waterall Brothers, Inc. as a drain layer for Riverhead Sewer District. So moved.
Second.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 437.
Acceptance of Bulletproof Vest Grant. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 438.
Ratifies authorization for Highway Superintendent to execute equipment rental agreement with Malvisi Equipment. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 439.
Is that,
I think we did.
Amends resolution 2022-727 Racetrack Knott Street Summer Series rain date times.
So moved. Wait.
okay.
Second.
Okay, vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 440.
Approved special event chapter 255 application for New York Marine Rescue Center's 26th annual 5K run for the Ridleys. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 441.
Approve special event, Chapter 255, application for Halleckville Museum Farm Country Fair. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 442.
Pays bills. So moved.
That should have been
Second.
Frank's, that's his favorite resolution.
Kern.
Vote please.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 443.
443. Ratified salary adjustments for water treatment plant operators. 2B.
Can I-
So moved.
So moved.
Seconded.
And yeah.
Kern.
Yes.
Rothwell.
Yes.
Bayrock.
Yes.
Aguiar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 444.
444, authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement with HREA 87 East Main Street LLC. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote please.
Kern.
Yes.
Rockwell.
Yes.
Dayraj.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Okay.
Happy
Pretty-
off?
That was pretty long, huh? All right, so now, it is we're gonna move on to open comments from anyone on any topics. Please be respectful, don't get accusatory, and address the entire board. So anyone want to come forward? Hi.
All right.
We know
Hello
you.
again. Heather Trojanowski, site plan reviewer. I just wanted to give a shout out to the building permits examiner who's retiring at the end of this month, Susan Edwards.
right.
She's been with the town for an incredible amount of time and is a wealth of knowledge, a very hard worker, and an asset to the town. We're going to miss her very, very much when she leaves at the end of the month, but her retirement is well-deserved.
Okay, thank you, Heather.
Totally agree. We love Sue.
I think she also trained you, right? Yes, she did.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she did a good job,
She did a great job.
because you're doing a good job. So,
I've known her for so long, and always, anything that I brought to the building department, she's just phenomenal to
but
work with.
temperament is great.
Love her.
Always there to help, so it's good to have that in
And
town.
you're taking right after her, Heather, which is great.
Yeah. But you have a long time before you retire, so.
Another 62 years.
Okay, so, anyone want to come up on, Mr. McAuliffe, here's your opportunity.
Don't invite him.
Oh,
I will call.
All right, he's
You're
going
not-
to yield 4 hours to everybody else. No, I'm kidding. All right, so I guess.
so I guess you are, well,
see
you all
what
know
you
each
did?
other, talk to each other, so, yeah, so you want to go last, you want to come
If it's a
forward?
coordinated thing, you
Is
can
there
do it however you
anybody
want.
online? Yes, yeah, it's okay.
Barbara Blas, Jamesport. I was just inquiring as to whether you have any information on the status of the Suffolk County Water Authority's project to extend water mains or install water mains from Flanders to Southold through the town of Riverhead.
We are scheduled to have a meeting with them, so they
Okay.
can brief us, and that's in the works right now. But they, I would suggest you can reach out to them. I think they already have the plan in place, and, you know, it is our town, and if you want to get some detailed information, I don't run that area. I'm waiting to get brief on it, and, but I would have to go to them. So if you want anything before we set up a meeting, you might want to reach out, and they may give it to you.
I'm just asking if there are permits that the town would have to issue and, you know, where we are in that process?
We don't know the extent of the project. Something was released to the press,
Okay,
and it was very, as you know, it was very minimal.
okay.
That there was an extension, and then it was celebrating somebody's retirement, and it was very
Oh, that-
convoluted.
the picture, yes.
Yeah,
the,
and that was like
it's the-
really, so, and that
I
was.
saw that.
And we knew about it when we read about it, so it's not like
Okay.
something that they're coordinating with us. I can, Greg, do you know if anything's come in? Yeah, nothing, yeah.
I think, Barbara, answer your question, yes, we would have to grant them road opening permits.
Okay,
Yeah,
and you haven't seen
they're not
anything from them?
exempt from any permitting.
Okay, good,
you know.
thank you, I appreciate that, thank you.
Okay. Okay, anyone else?
Last but not least,
Okay, welcome back.
Yep, not far away. John McAuliffe, Roanoke Landing. I assume Mr. Hubbard is not online, is that,
I haven't seen him online.
okay.
No,
All right, no, because some of what I wanted to say, I'll just save until we're all together, because it's continuation of the last discussion. Just to finish up what I was saying, and I'm sorry if it was out of order, but,
okay. You're
but
fine.
the irony or the contradiction about the great concern we had to preserve the nesting grounds and limit therefore the time that the drag racing took place, I'm not sure how that fits with the proposal from the Germasians to use the runways for an active cargo port, a distribution hub. Are they going to suspend use during the nesting times, or do we just not care about the nesting times anymore? So that's one point. Also, on my favorite topic of EPCAL, I assume you all saw Denise Civiletti's article that came out last night and was in the distribution this morning, that 555 Chairman Nader Jermasian and other family members, including a nephew listed as a principal in Calverton Aviation and Technology, will be added as defendants in a civil racketeering lawsuit pending in the Southern District of New York under a court order signed last week. The lawsuit accuses 555 and individual family members of wrongfully using a trademark name and logo on a knockoff hand sanitizer produced in Mexico during the pandemic. There also was concern from the FDA about contamination of that. We've been concerned about the Jermasian since the beginning of this proposal, and it almost feels from this that it's time to reopen qualified and eligible, because this cascading series of problems about the integrity of these is really a town board question, not an IDA. And it almost feels from this that it's time. Okay, thank you for the echo.
I don't know.
Getting double time, John.
At any rate, so I would just submit that for your consideration. It would be helpful, I think, it's good that you list the letters, and it's good now to get a 5-word précis of what's in people's letters, but it would be good to make them accessible online, that people could click onto them, because people take a lot of trouble to write those letters, and I'm not talking specifically about the EPCAL watch letters, but all of the letters you get, it would be good for people to be able to see substantively what is concerning people in the community. It also, one has the feeling of sending letters and they fall into a chasm and they're never responded to. Obviously, you can't respond to every letter, but I would think that at least one member of the board might be charged of substantive letters or a group of letters to issue a response to them, rather than have people feeling that they're not having any impact. Our question is, are we still in the state of emergency, or is that over? The question of migrants.
We'll wait till you finish. Withdraw your question.
Well, all right. Well, my question is, if we still face that, or even if it's not still in place, I think that the issues that arose around it, as I said in the last meeting, do deserve a really deep consideration by the town, some sort of an open discussion of the whole issue of migrants and of the population in the town that's not documented, and how that affects their lives. The last thing I wanted to say also, you may or may not be aware, we've discovered in our neighborhood that beech leaf disease is beginning to consume the beech trees, and Cornell is working on it, and the companies are working on it, but so far they don't have a solution, and the town faces a situation in 5 years of not having any beech trees if that's not addressed. And again, the specialists are working on it, but it might be of concern to the town board because of its effect on the environment of the whole town. Finally, tomorrow night on the climate change issue, tomorrow night in the Suffolk Theater at 7 p.m., there's a film and a panel. The film is called Terra Nostra, and I hope that you'll be able to come because it will be raising the broad issue of climate change. Thank you very much.
John, I'll just chime in on the one thing. You can go sit down. Yeah. If you want to. You can stand if you don't want to. Okay. Whatever you want to do. But the one thing I will chime in, I live in a similar neighborhood to you, just west up in the bluffs, and I've had problems with the silver beaches as well and regular
Yeah.
beaches, and we are aware, I am aware especially of those diseases. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, no, I mean, we got a quote that'll cost us for the 10 trees that we have, we're talking about $3,000.
And these are big trees.
Yeah, oh, yes, you know, you can't let them stay
No.
because they're 40, 50 foot
Just
high
saying that I
trees.
understand the comment.
And I don't know how broadly they're distributed, whether it's just people along the sound that
I
have them.
think it
or-
is. I mean,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah,
view.
but at any rate, I think it's a crisis that your successors are going to have, I think, upon you. So that's,
Okay, so I want to comment on two things. One of your topics that you're always concerned with is EPCAL, and it concerns all of us across the board. There's constant indicators that maybe there's some type of moral aspect that maybe do not make them a fitting purchaser. I did not sign that contract. That contract was signed in 2018 by the former supervisor, Laura Jen Smith. We inherited this. What we did so far was, last year, the board supported me, and we amended the contract with much objection, and we put in that the town should not absorb the thousands of dollars, the hundreds of thousands of dollars that's been, so that they would have to pay for it. And we also put in, if they don't go through the process with the IDA or they're not approved, that we can walk away. We currently have 4 attorneys on that. We have an independent counsel, we have a special counsel, we have the town attorney, and we have an IDA. If they tell us that we can move away from it, and they're not cooperating, then I'm sure this board would take that position. At the current time, if we walk away against our counsel, and you've been to the meetings, John, when it's been explained to you that there is a legal process, we have to let that legal process, we can't interfere with that. And at any time, if they don't cooperate and time is passing and they're being put on notice, then we will. And we'll do what we have to do. We'll put it back up to sale. And the state of emergency is a personal choice as a supervisor. It sounds like state of emergency, lockdown, and all these fears, and people say you're creating fear in the community. Well, some people in the community were committing that fear, unfortunately. And there were people who had certain beliefs, and it's fine. It's okay. I had credible, reliable evidence, and I don't have to give anybody that evidence. I came from New York City, I worked in counterterrorism, and I come from the intelligence field, and I teach in the intelligence field. So I don't need to be questioned and this is that and happened because somebody spoke about it in a radio station. That's where it comes. There was so much garbage going back and forth. I just keep on putting up. The Nassau County county executive created an executive order. Countless of towns in upstate have created. The MO, method of operation, is you bust these people, they're on their way, before they get there in half an hour, you get a phone call, there's already a contract, the hotel is empty, everybody's been put out on the street, that's the MO. Nobody will give us any time. I did it for my town, and that was my right, and it's strictly only saying you can't change our hotel, our disabled homes, our residential homes, whatever it is that we have here, you can't change that code before going to us. And that is strictly the extent of the order. And we also had the county executive, even though some newspapers decided that we're not going to put down that he created an emergency order. He actually created one, and I thank the county executive because he did put down almost exactly what I put down: do not change our codes in Suffolk County, our housing code. We should do this responsibly, and I totally agree with his approach. Stop pitting people. I understand they're saying her parents, where they came. My ancestors came here for a long time, okay, before my parents came. So I have family before and after. We were Commonwealth, and they're saying this, and she doesn't know what to say. That's got to stop. I need to run a town, and there's been a tremendous amount of support. They could tell you from my office, for the first 3 days, people were calling. People are lined up outside the office. Finally, thank you. And finally, it's being addressed. And it had nothing to do with your color, your race, where you come from. And I believe in legal immigration, and that's where I stand. And I'm not going to go back and forth to have to argue with individuals that do not perceive what I did was the right thing for my town, and go back and forth and start bringing in family members and insults and whatever. It stands, and it's gonna stand until I think, as supervisor of the Riverhead Township, that I think it should be removed.
So it is still in effect?
It's still in
That's-
effect,
all right.
and every 5 days, I will be renewing it, just like Ballone's doing, our county executive is doing, the Nassau County Executive did. Fortunately, we were more proactive, we had more information than most of the counties, and we decided to, and this was also vetted legally, okay? And we decided to do what we had to do, and that's it. I'm not gonna go back and forth, and, you know, media and attention-getting headlines and proving people wrong and asking people, can I change a federal law? They go, no, and then they write it down as if talking about my executive order that I have every right. Those are games, you know, those are people's business model. I don't believe in that, and I'm not gonna give into it, so, that's it.
Again, my point is that whatever one thinks about your order, it did open a whole very, very sensitive area.
It's a federal issue, so
No, well, it's a local issue, obviously, because we have a substantial population of undocumented people here. And we need, and there are a lot of things, if you look at what shows up online at Riverhead Patch, the comments.
It's all lying to the people that support you. There's 26 of them,
but what
and we
I'm
got them all names, and the same people, and then the
No,
newspaper
there's
writes,
lots of-
local writes something the
No,
day before.
in our
So you can
neighborhood-
come and talk to it, and then they could go write it, and then it's like, and then you get the same, we call them
No,
keyboard
in our
warriors.
we have one
So-
of these neighborhood internet systems, you know, the
Yes,
5 or
I know,
6
and you're
neighborhoods
also
internet.
on the neighborhood putting up all the political
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and they be telling you guys to get off.
But-
But anyway, let's not go that, this is a town
Okay,
board
well-
meeting, there were residents listening to this, these
I
board members
just
work
think that
very
you-
hard,
a
going back and
deeper-
forth to try to take on the supervisor, because she did her job. I'm sorry, and your 5 minutes is up.
A deeper look at the issue would be merited, I think.
Call Washington, John.
No, it's a local, I mean, it's, first of all of those people were potentially coming because the governors of Texas and Florida sent them. Talk
It's a
about
federal
not
issue,
knowing.
a human-
Talk about not knowing. They were sending
humanitarian
people on
crisis.
buses with no notice to New York City
Our
when
president
they
has
were
failed
arriving.
us, we don't like to become political here, and I try to stay away. Our president failed us,
Well,
and it
that's.
has to.
Hello,
both
Joe
You were
Biden,
very
can I talk to you?
political. You
Both
were very
houses of
political.
Congress has to take care of it. Don't come in, we take care, we live in a diversified community. We take care as much as we can of our residents.
Well, I
and
think
we're
we,
gonna
I think
continue.
we need a deeper look at that
A
whole
deeper
issue.
look into my
No,
authority and power.
not you. A
Oh, yeah.
deeper look,
said.
Okay.
a
It's
gonna
deeper
take it-
look
take it-
about the issue of attitudes about migrant population in Riverhead. That's what we need a deeper look on. No, I think you should withdraw that, but that's a different question. I think the issue that's really revealed is that within a community in which some 20% of the population are now Hispanic, and they're not represented
And what
in
does that
any
mean? More
than that.
aspect.
What does that mean? Tell me what 20% Hispanic, I'm a Hispanic, go ahead.
I know, you're
No,
included, but you're not gonna
well,
be,
hold on, does
you're
that
not gonna be
mean that these people
supervisor.
are bad and they
No,
don't
not
come
at
here to
all.
become doctors?
No, it
and-
means that they
My
ought to
parents
be-
migrated from here
They-
regardless of what
of
people want
course.
to rewrite history.
The point is,
and
they
we
ought
went
to
through the whole
be,
process.
they ought to feel
And I didn't-
welcome in the community.
Yeah, well,
That's-
they are in the community and everybody aspires and we take care of our own
That's
residents.
not what was
And-
revealed.
Yeah,
That's not
okay.
what was revealed
So,
in the reaction
in
to
either
your
case,
declaration.
again, we have our residents here, they're watching on TV, they're going back and forth, it's a humanitarian crisis, it's gotta be addressed by both houses, and it doesn't really necessarily belong here. I decided our code can't be changed overnight for people to make money on it. And we have had calls that people want to do it privately and so forth. But overall, 98% of the calls, and there was a few hundred of them that came in the first 3 days, was in support, and it didn't matter who you are, what color you are, the size of you, you were an ant, a cockroach, it didn't matter who you are. They decided that, this is something that we need to address, and I agree with you in that respect. We need to address it. Too much time is spent on this, and we're gonna, can I have a first and a? Oh. You don't have anybody online, right? Chip? Nobody online, okay. Hi, John.
Hello, Robert Skinner, Jamesport.
Hi.
Now for something completely different.
Good.
I would just like a little education as to, if I heard you correctly, with the possibility of redoing the contract with EPCAL, that the IDA is the one that would set the board in motion?
Oh, no, I had that signed before I gave it to them.
But-
That provision is in there. It would saved us to a certain extent, and of course, saved us thousands and thousands of dollars, but it also gives us a possibility of them agreeing that we can walk away. So it was more of a, and again, there was a tremendous amount of resistance, but we did sign that before it went to the IDA. So that provision is in there, and it's signed by Justin Jermasian himself, so.
Okay, I just don't understand the workings of the IDA in the mechanism of how that is. So if you can educate me, I'd
John,
appreciate it.
Bob, it's very, it's very complicated. We have had a public work session on this. Anne Marie, we had a work session on this, correct? Everything was explained, and it's online. If you go into it, you can sit at your own convenience, and everything is laid out with a map. Any idea about when that date was?
The contract is online, right, Emery?
Everything's on.
Everything's
Including that, we had an open work session, that's taped. Anne Marie, I don't know, I don't expect you to find a date, but it'll say IDA open work session, and there were maps, and you can always, always call us if you had a particular question.
Because to an uneducated, non-lawyer person like myself, it just seems like the IDA is an independent board, that is not elected. You see what I'm saying? So when this whole thing got started, I thought it was going to be, and several other people thought it was going to be the town board has the final say on this. And, it just seems like it's being given, to be given over to the IDA like that, it just, personally, it doesn't sit well. But I just wanted,
Well, I think, go on to the IDA also website, and there's a really nice video that explains what they do.
Yeah,
and that'll
I
help
did.
you.
That's what has me nervous.
Okay, and then I
Yeah,
think,
that-
Anne Marie,
that's
you
the
can
thing.
answer that one question, right, that what he says that concerns him.
The
that he
agreement's
thought-
on the website.
And everything's on there.
Yeah, because when I went on the IDA website, that's when I came away from the saying, wait a minute. So,
There's a link that says EPCAL, and it has everything's in there, and that forum, it was an open forum. And it was very informative to a lot of people. A lot of people said they walked away with understanding it, so, but she can answer that one question that's troubling you.
the Q&E, what was said directly at the Q&E, as I said to you, sent to you folks before, doesn't add up anymore.
Okay. Thank you.
So everybody will probably recall, we did a forum at the request of the public to explain the town and IDA process and joint application. That went on for no less than 3 hours.
Yes.
Special counsel Dawn Thomas and myself fielded every single question out there and explained the process. That, I believe, is actually online, or we could repost that online. All the documents related thereto, the explanation of the process, a flow chart, everything is online. To be clear, the town board will always be vested with site plan approval. Always. So that won't diminish with the IDA joint application process. That's written in our code, and it stands.
There is a nuance on this. After
Name
that
and Hamlet,
discussion, excuse me?
Name and Hamlet,
Oh,
please.
John McCollum, Rolling Woods. You may recall that EPCAL Watch sent a letter to the IDA requesting a meeting that would actually discuss the process, because when we were talking as Anne Marie is describing, it was before things had been moved into a concrete process. And so the request was there should be a public forum with the IDA to discuss that. The staff person from the IDA told Rex Farr twice on the phone that that would happen. And we were a little concerned when the hotel meeting was announced that it was replacing that. That, we were assured that no, the hotel meeting is different than the one you requested. We're still going to do the meeting you requested. Only now we're being told that meeting isn't happening. So we think that there is a gap between, I mean, the IDA refuses to accept any questions from the floor. They had a meeting yesterday, and there's no discussion with them about where this stands. And I think there's a lot of confusion and uncertainty about how this process is going to work.
John, if I can interrupt,
Sure.
look, we're on the IDA's timeline. You may want it yesterday, I may want it today, right? They're in a process. So we're all gonna have to wait until that process plays out. And then we'll have information. We can talk all we want about it forever.
No, but all-
And they will have, when they have information, I can tell you now, we will all have that information. But while they're vetting, it's a vetting process. They're not gonna say, hey, by the way, we called Joe today to find out if X, Y, Z works. It's a process, let's wait, let the process play out. We can speculate all we want, and for me, that's just a lot of wasted time.
Yeah, but all we were asking for, Bob, and they seemed to agree to it, was that there be a forum in which they would discuss that process, not,
I take it up with them,
Yeah.
we can't, that's something you need to
no,
take
no,
up with
but I was
them.
just following up to Anne Marie's comment that that was where we were standing. No, it's not your problem, it's their problem, and we has spoken to them informally about it and hope that they will do it finally and not wait until the end of the process when
Take
they
it up
make a
with them.
recommendation.
Yeah, I hope you know, hope you get.
Yeah, no,
you'll
that's
get
our
it.
hope, it's not,
Okay.
not your issue.
Anyone else? No.
Call Frank, he'll tell you.
Okay. Nobody wants to come up? Okay, fine. So, thank you, everyone. This concludes our meeting for today. Can I have a first and a second to go into to close this town board meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all opposed, all in favor, so moved. Everyone, please be safe.